The morning rush at Mary's Diner was always loud, sizzling bacon, clinking mugs, laughter, and chaos. But every day at exactly 7:15 a.m., quietness seemed to settle for just a moment. When Evelyn Carter, a frail old woman in a worn gray coat, stepped inside. And every morning, Emily, the 27-year-old waitress with a tired smile and dreams too big for her small-town life, greeted her the same way. "Good morning, Miss Evelyn. The usual?" The old woman would nod, her trembling hands clutching a faded leather purse. "A coffee, dear. Black. And if you could spare a blueberry muffin again." Emily always did. Sometimes she'd even sneak in a slice of apple pie when her manager wasn't looking. Evelyn never ate much, just sipped her coffee, read the newspaper, and smiled as if that little diner was her whole world. Middle cashier's growing connection. Weeks turned into months. Emily learned Evelyn lived alone, had no children, and walked from a few blocks away no matter the weather. "I used to come here with my husband," Evelyn once whispered. "He loved blueberry muffins too." Emily's heart ached. She'd lost her mother young and knew how loneliness looked in someone's eyes. So she started sitting with Evelyn after her shift. They'd talk about life, the old woman giving her advice, telling her stories about love, loss, and patience. One stormy morning, Evelyn came in drenched and coughing. Emily wrapped her in a spare diner blanket and brought her soup instead of coffee. "You shouldn't have come out in this weather," Emily scolded gently. Evelyn just smiled. "If I didn't come, I wouldn't see my favorite waitress." The turning point, the day everything changed. Then one morning, Evelyn didn't show up. Nor the next day, nor the one after that. Emily worried sick. She even checked the nearby hospital, but there was no record. Days passed, and the diner felt emptier than ever. A week later, on a bright Monday morning, the door opened, and in walked 4 men in black suits, followed by 2 women in crisp professional attire. The diner went silent. The tallest one spoke, his voice deep and calm. "Is there an Emily Parker here?" Emily froze mid-step. That's me." The woman in a navy blazer stepped forward, handing her an envelope. "I'm attorney Sarah Blake. We represent the Carter family." Emily blinked. "Carter? You mean Evelyn Carter?" Sarah nodded softly. "Yes. Mrs. Evelyn Carter passed away 3 days ago. She wanted us to deliver something personally." The emotional reveal. Emily's throat tightened as she opened the letter. Evelyn's handwriting trembled across the page. "My dear Emily, you reminded me that kindness still exists in this world. You gave me warmth when I had nothing left. I never told you who I was because I wanted someone to care for me, not for my name, not for my money, but for me. You did that. I am leaving you something small, a token of my gratitude. Please use it to build the life you deserve. With love, Evelyn Carter." Tears rolled down Emily's cheeks. The lawyer continued gently. "Mrs. Carter was the founder of Carter Holdings, one of the largest real estate firms in the state. She left you her lake house along with a trust fund and ownership of this diner." The entire staff gasped. Emily's knees almost gave out. Climax, realization, and change. A few weeks later, Emily stood in front of the diner, now freshly painted with a new sign, "Evelyn's Place, where kindness lives." She didn't sell the diner. She renovated it, adding a small reading corner with Evelyn's favorite chair and framed photos of her smiling face. Every morning she served free coffee to anyone who needed warmth, truck drivers, lonely old men, and tired single mothers. And sometimes when the sun hit just right through the window, Emily swore she could see Evelyn sitting at her old table, smiling proudly. Emily often told her customers, "You never know who you're serving or what they carry in their hearts." Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change a life, or two. And just like that, in a little diner that smelled of coffee and hope, one woman's kindness lived on forever. The soft hum of the diner's old jukebox filled the air as Emily wiped down the counter, lost in thought. The morning crowd had thinned, leaving behind the faint aroma of fresh coffee and maple syrup. It had been 3 months since Evelyn's passing, and yet, not a single day went by that Emily didn't feel her presence. She'd kept Evelyn's table exactly as it always was, corner seat by the window, a clean white mug placed neatly on a napkin, and a vase with fresh daisies. Customers often asked why the seat was never taken, and Emily would just smile and say, "That one's reserved for someone special." Life had changed in ways Emily never imagined. The lake house was peaceful, too peaceful sometimes. She would spend her evenings there, watching the sunset reflect on the water, thinking about how a simple act of kindness could ripple so far. The money Evelyn left could have made her rich, but Emily wasn't chasing that. She wanted to honor Evelyn's memory the only way she knew how, through kindness. Every month she started a small tradition: free breakfast for the elderly on Sundays, discounts for single parents, a donation jar for local shelters that always filled faster than anyone expected. The diner had become more than just a place to eat. It had become a home for people who needed a smile, a warm meal, or just someone to talk to. One rainy evening, a teenage boy walked in, soaked to the bone, clothes torn, eyes full of worry. Emily recognized the look instantly. She'd worn it once herself. She handed him a towel and a cup of hot chocolate before he could say a word. "You look like you've had a long day," she said softly. He nodded, his voice barely a whisper. "I just needed somewhere dry to sit." Emily smiled. "Then you came to the right place." Later that night, as the boy ate his free meal, he looked up and asked, "Why are you being so nice to me?" Emily paused for a moment, then said, "Because someone once was kind to me when I needed it most, and it changed everything." The boy smiled shyly, a flicker of hope lighting his tired eyes. When he left, he turned back to look at the diner's glowing sign through the rain, "Evelyn's Place, where kindness lives." He stood there for a moment smiling, before disappearing into the misty street. Emily watched from the window, a soft tear glistening in her eyes. She turned to Evelyn's empty seat, whispering, "We're still doing it, Evelyn. We're still making a difference." And as thunder rolled gently across the sky, Emily could almost hear Evelyn's voice again, warm, loving, proud. "You're doing just fine, dear." In that quiet moment, with rain tapping against the glass and the lights of the diner glowing like a beacon in the dark, Emily knew one thing for sure: real kindness never dies. It simply passes on, from one soul to another.